Do you ever feel like your mind just won't shut up? Like it's constantly replaying worries, unfinished tasks, and random thoughts, even when all you want is peace? You're not alone. In today's hyperconnected world, mental clutter is the silent epidemic that's draining our energy, focus, and joy. But what if you could clear the noise and finally think clearly again? Introduction. Welcome to AudioBookCAPS, where we break down powerful books into life-changing ideas. Today's summary dives into Declutter Your Mind by S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport, a practical, no-fluff guide that helps you stop overthinking, reduce anxiety, and reclaim your focus through simple mental habits. This book isn't about becoming a monk or meditating for hours. It's about real strategies for real people, just like you, who want to silence the mental chaos and start living with more clarity, intention, and peace. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Mental clutter is a major source of stress. Let's be honest, our minds are rarely quiet. We're constantly thinking about what we should be doing, what we didn't do, and what might go wrong tomorrow. It's like having 20 tabs open in your brain, and none of them are loading properly. That's what the authors call mental clutter, and it's one of the biggest hidden sources of stress in our lives. In this chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport explain that mental clutter isn't just about being forgetful or distracted. It's the nonstop flood of worries, regrets, negative thoughts, and to-do lists swirling in your head. And over time, it wears you down mentally, emotionally, and even physically. Think about it. Have you ever laid in bed exhausted, but your brain is still racing with thoughts like, did I send that email? Or what if I mess up tomorrow's meeting? That's mental clutter at work. And just like physical clutter in your home, if you don't deal with it, it piles up and overwhelms you. The good news? The authors say this kind of stress is totally manageable, but only if we learn how to recognize the clutter and take small steps to clean it up. This book is all about helping you do just that. And it starts by becoming more aware of what's really going on inside your mind. Chapter 2. Mindfulness is the key to mental clarity. If mental clutter is the storm in your head, mindfulness is the calm in the middle of it. In this chapter, the authors introduce mindfulness as a powerful tool to clear out the noise. But here's the thing. It's not some mystical practice or complicated ritual. Mindfulness is simply the habit of paying attention to the present moment on purpose. That's it. Think about how often your mind wanders during the day. You're doing the dishes, but mentally you're replaying a mistake from last week. Or you're in a meeting, but your brain is planning what to cook for dinner. Your body's present, but your mind? All over the place. S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport explain that this constant drifting is what fuels anxiety and stress. But when you practice mindfulness, you train your brain to come back to the here and now. You give yourself a break from the chaos. Even simple things like focusing on your breath for 60 seconds or fully experiencing a cup of coffee without checking your phone can pull you out of mental overload and into clarity. The authors suggest starting small. You don't need to sit cross-legged on a mountaintop. Just pause, breathe, notice. That's mindfulness in action. And the more you do it, the easier it gets to clear out the mental clutter and find peace, even in a busy world. Chapter 3. Control what you can, let go of what you can't. Here's a truth bomb. Most of the stuff we stress about is completely out of our control. And the more we try to fix everything, the more anxious and exhausted we feel. In this chapter, the authors dive into one of the most freeing mindset shifts you can make. Focusing only on what's within your control and learning to let go of everything else. It sounds simple, but it's a game changer. Let's break it down. You can't control the weather, your boss's mood, or what someone posts on social media. But you can control how you react, how you speak, and where you focus your energy. The key is to stop wasting mental space on things that are outside your influence. Think of your mind like a garden. If you keep watering weeds like worry, fear, and resentment, they'll grow wild. But if you focus on planting and nurturing the things you can control, your actions, your thoughts, your habits, that's when clarity and peace take root. The author suggests a simple trick. When you're overwhelmed, pause and ask, is this within my control? If not, practice letting it go. Not because you don't care, but because you care about your well-being more. When you stop fighting battles you can't win, you free your mind to actually enjoy the present and take meaningful action where it matters most. Chapter 4. Simplify your commitments. Ever feel like your calendar is running your life? Between work meetings, social events, errands, family obligations, and that online course you swore you'd finish, it's easy to feel pulled in a dozen directions. That's what this chapter tackles. How an overloaded schedule clutters your mind, and how simplifying your commitments can bring back peace and focus. S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport explain that many of us say yes way too often. We overcommit out of guilt, fear of missing out, or the need to please others. But here's the truth. Every yes you give is a no to something else, often your peace of mind, rest, or personal goals. The authors encourage us to get brutally honest about what really matters. Not everything deserves a spot on your calendar. When you simplify your commitments, you create space, not just in your schedule, but in your mind. You stop rushing, stressing, and stretching yourself thin. Here's a helpful tip from the book: do a commitment audit. Take a look at everything you're saying yes to and ask, does this align with my values and priorities? If not, give yourself permission to back out or say no in the future. It's not selfish, it's smart. The less noise in your schedule, the more clarity in your mind. Simplifying isn't about doing less. It's about making room for what truly matters. Chapter 5. Routines create freedom. Wait, routines create freedom? It sounds backward, right? But in this chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport explain that the more structure you build into your day, the more mental freedom you actually gain. Here's why. Every decision you make, what to eat, what to wear, when to work out, uses mental energy. It's called decision fatigue, and it adds to the clutter in your mind. But when you have solid routines in place, you cut down on that daily noise. Think of it like this. Instead of waking up and scrambling to figure out what to do next, your morning flows smoothly because you've already mapped it out. Maybe it starts with stretching, journaling, or just sipping your coffee in silence. That consistent routine creates a sense of stability and less stress. The authors suggest building small, intentional routines into key parts of your day. A morning routine to start your day with clarity. A workday routine to stay focused and productive. An evening routine to wind down and prepare your mind for rest. The goal isn't to micromanage every minute, but to design a rhythm that works for you. Because when your days have structure, your mind has space. And that's where the real freedom begins. So instead of chasing motivation or waiting for inspiration, create routines that support your peace and stick to them. You'll thank yourself later. Chapter 6. Identify and replace negative thoughts. Let's face it, we all have that inner critic. You know, the voice that says you're not good enough, or you always mess things up. In this chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport teach us how to catch those negative thoughts in the act and replace them with something better. Negative thinking is sneaky. It often runs in the background of our minds, shaping how we feel and act without us even realizing it. Over time, these thoughts can create mental clutter, anxiety, and low self-esteem. The authors emphasize that the first step is awareness. Start paying attention to the stories you tell yourself. For example, if you think, I'll never be able to do this, pause and challenge it. Is it really true? Or is it just fear talking? Next comes the replacement. Swap that thought with something more balanced and empowering, like, this is tough, but I've handled hard things before. It's not about fake positivity. It's about being kind and honest with yourself. Helpfultip. Write down your most common negative thoughts. Then create go-to replacement thoughts you can use when they show up. Over time, you'll train your brain to think in a healthier, more constructive way. Remember, your thoughts aren't facts, they're habits. And just like any habit, you can change them with intention and practice. Chapter 7. Declutter relationships that drain you. Let's be real. Some people just drain your energy. You know the ones, the chronic complainers, the drama magnets, or the ones who always take but never give. In this chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport talk about something we don't always like to admit. Not all relationships are worth keeping. Just like physical clutter piles up in your home, toxic or unbalanced relationships clutter your emotional space. And that emotional clutter can leave you feeling anxious, resentful, or just plain exhausted. The authors encourage you to take a step back and evaluate which relationships actually support your well-being and which ones pull you down. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but it does mean setting healthy boundaries. That might look like spending less time with negative people, learning to say no more often, or simply refusing to engage in drama. Here's a great exercise from the book. Make a list of the people you interact with regularly and ask yourself, how do I feel after spending time with them? Energized? Drained? Inspired? Frustrated? The goal is to nurture the relationships that bring you peace, growth, and mutual respect, and gently step back from the ones that don't. Because at the end of the day, who you surround yourself with deeply affects your mental clarity and your happiness. Chapter 8. Journaling helps process thoughts. You don't have to be a writer to keep a journal. In this chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport show us how journaling is one of the simplest and most powerful tools for clearing mental clutter. And no, it doesn't have to be fancy or poetic. It just has to be real. When your thoughts stay stuck in your head, they tend to swirl, multiply, and get overwhelming. But when you write them down, something shifts. You take all that noise and give it structure. You make space in your mind by getting it out on paper. Think of journaling like having a conversation with yourself. You can vent, reflect, ask questions, or even brainstorm solutions. It's a safe space where no one judges you, and you don't have to filter your feelings. The authors suggest using journaling to explore your emotions, spot patterns in your thinking, and gain clarity on what's really bothering you. Stressed about work? Write it out. Feeling stuck? Journal through it. You'll be surprised how often the answers are already inside you. They just need a little room to come to the surface. You can journal in the morning to clear your head for the day, or at night to unwind and reflect. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. Bottom line, journaling helps you slow down, breathe, and hear yourself think. It's one of the easiest ways to declutter your mind, and it's completely free. Chapter 9. Digital detoxing reduces mental noise. Be honest. How many times have you checked your phone today? In this chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport tackle a major source of modern-day mental clutter, digital overload. Between emails, social media, texts, and endless notifications, our brains are constantly on high alert, and it's exhausting. The problem isn't just screen time. It's the constant stimulation and information overload that keeps your mind buzzing even when you're trying to relax. The more you scroll, swipe, and refresh, the harder it is to focus, sleep, and feel calm. That's where digital detoxing comes in. The authors aren't saying you need to quit technology cold turkey, but you do need boundaries. Start small. Maybe you silence notifications during meals, or you leave your phone in another room while working. Even setting no phone zones, like your bedroom or morning routine, can give your brain the break it desperately needs. They also recommend scheduling intentional time offline each day. Read a book, take a walk, or just sit in silence. At first, it might feel weird, but soon, you'll notice your thoughts becoming clearer and your stress levels dropping. Bottom line, your brain isn't built to be on 24/7. Unplugging, even for a little while, creates space for peace, focus, and real connection. Chapter 10. Clarify your core values and purpose. Have you ever felt like you're busy all the time, but still unfulfilled? In this final chapter, S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport explain that one major cause of mental clutter is living out of alignment with your core values and purpose. When you don't have a clear sense of direction, everything feels urgent, even when it isn't. The truth is, without purpose, it's easy to say yes to things that don't matter. You chase goals that don't fulfill you, spend time with people who drain you, and wonder why you still feel off. But when you're clear on what you truly value, whether it's family, creativity, freedom, health, or growth, you gain a built-in compass. Your values help you decide what to pursue and what to let go of. The author suggests taking time to define your personal values. What matters most to you? What kind of life do you want to build? Once you're clear on that, decisions become easier, distractions fade, and your actions feel more meaningful. And don't worry, you don't have to figure out your life's purpose overnight. Just start by asking, what gives me energy? What makes me feel proud? What I want more of? When your choices align with your values, life feels less chaotic and more intentional. And that's the ultimate way to declutter your mind, by living on purpose. Conclusion. So, there you have it. Declutter Your Mind by S.J. Scott and Barry Davenport isn't just another self-help book. It's a practical guide for anyone who's tired of feeling mentally scattered, emotionally drained, or stuck in constant overthinking. From simplifying your schedule and setting boundaries, to journaling your thoughts and being mindful in the moment, this book offers real, doable steps that help you clear the mental chaos and reconnect with what truly matters. And the best part? You don't have to be perfect or have it all figured out. You just have to start. One small step, one mindful moment at a time. If anything in this summary resonated with you, I highly recommend grabbing the full book. There's so much more insight, reflection prompts, and practical advice packed into every chapter that can truly help you reset your mental space and take back control of your life. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to subscribe to AudioBookCAPS for more life-changing book breakdowns just like this. And hey, what's one mental clutter habit you want to break? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and keep growing.